Hello and welcome back to Lord of Heroes News here on Nyris Gaming. There is quite a bit to get to today, some of which you might be able to see on the screen already. First things first, let's get some coupon codes. Now these will all be available until January 12th. Here they all are here. They will net you quite a lot of different things. One of which I am a bit interested in is the one called Next Collabo, which might indicate we're getting a new collaboration event in the near future. And once you enter all of those, it will net you all of this, which is a hefty amount of summoning and alchemy and gold and renown. Moving on to the actual update itself, it's going to be on the 17th in 4 days. Our next hero, who has a story login rewards event going on right now, where you will net enough linkstones for a free temple, is going to be Light Ahilam, who is the namesake for the Bulwark set of gear. She is very solar themed. Her banner will be running from the 17th to the 1st of February, alongside Light Sniper Astrid, who is a very good debuffer sub-DPS sniper for single target, as well as Dark Crom, who is a decent AoE dark striker and provides lots of good buffs and action gauge boosting to the team. Not only that, but him and Light Astrid are getting buffs. War of the Tyrants Book of Truth Part 2 is going to be dropping soon. Here are the requirements and the release schedule, as well as Light Laughless being added to the Link Summon roster. I will probably be doing an update every 3 or so months as the year goes on. Here are our balance changes for this patch. Surprisingly light Sifrid, even though she's already really powerful, and light Charlotte, even though she just released. And we're still doing the new way of doing things, so it's hard to tell what's actually new and what's not, because sometimes it's in red text and sometimes it isn't, and they don't do a before and after. So in light of that, I'm going to go a bit more in-depth this time. Light Laughless is a light commander. His 1 attacks the selected enemy, 60% chance to inflict shock on the target for 1 turn, and additionally grants regeneration to all allies for 1 turn. The debuff chance only gets up to a 70% chance, where the updated version is a 90 to 100% chance if the target is Dark Elemental, not in red text, very confusingly. His 2 is a 4-turn cooldown, down to a 3 at max rank. Attacks a selected enemy, increases the crit rate and damage of all allies for 2 turns. An amazing buffing ability that you can keep up indefinitely once you get those last 2 levels. The updated version simply adds taking the lead to him because he is a commander, stacking up to 3 times. His burst is a 4 cost, going down to 3 at level 6. Attacks all enemies, has a 70% chance to inflict silence and amnesia, going up to 80% at rank 5, and a 40% chance to inflict petrification, also going up to 50 at rank 5. The updated version adds 400% more damage when there are fewer targets. The amnesia and silence chance and the petrification chance are exactly the same as far as I can see, but then it has taking the lead effects. 1 or more stacks triggers Flurry 1 time, 2 or more stacks increases damage dealt against Dark Elemental enemies by 200%, and 3 or more stacks does another 200% to Dark Elemental enemies. This will aid in him keeping Shock applied with his 1, and keep Regeneration on the team constantly if you have at least 1 stack from his 2, which should be not hard at all. Spear cost is also being dropped from 4 down to 3, to 3 down to 2. I could see him doing a decent bit of damage after all these changes, and could be a decent buff and debuff support as well as a sub-DPS. His commander ability is also getting expanded to the Temporal Rift on top of Calamity's Cradle. I believe the assist chance is exactly the same, but it also now has a 100% chance to increase the action gauge of each ally respectively by 5 up to 15% upon taking a turn, so he's also a micro action gauge booster. And I just looked, the only change to the assist chance is the base number is going up by 5. Next up is not Earth Ralagon. They were very sloppy with these buff tables. This is Earth Ondel because he has Heavy Chain Strikes and Celestial Shatterer. Earth Ralagon is a cleric, not a warrior. But this is Ondel. His 1 is purely getting a counter-attacking specific buff, which will increase his crit hit damage by 10%, stacking up to 10 times. He is in much desperate need of a bit of extra damage. He is a bit underwhelming compared to the likes of Earth Laughless and other Earth Striker DPSs. His 2 appears to just be getting a description of Fury of the Strong on it now. His burst is purely getting 200% more damage if he's under the effects of Pierce, which his 2 gives to him, so he will just be doing more damage. Lastly, his relics are staying exactly the same as before, with the addition of increasing the damage dealt against water elemental enemies by 5 up to 15% for every earth elemental ally on the field, up to a max of 25 to 75%, as going on both of his relics. The defense reduction one being immensely better, especially if you're going for that counterattack. On his 1, that is an AoE defense reduction ability. I'm pretty sure the only one Earth has at the moment. Now on to actual Earth Ralagon. As far as I can tell, this is mostly just a wording change, so you know that it only removes all buffs from him if he has 6 or more stacks of warmth. I haven't used him very much myself, if I'm being honest. Next up is not Light Laughless. Again, I said they were very sloppy with this. This is Light Siegfried. Her 1 and her burst are both getting maximum health scaling damage, which she can make heavy use of. I will be very curious to see how my over 100,000 health Siegfried does in the damage department. Her burst is also getting an increase to the chance to reduce the target's action gauge. It is also getting Focus Defense Dark to all light elemental allies for 3 turns. Focus Defense is making the rounds now, and I'm loving to see it. Next up is Earthschneider, who actually has a before and after for his defense increase. He is also getting defense scaling damage on all of his abilities, so you can build him as a defense sapper warrior. His 1 is getting a micro action gauge boost to the team of up to 20% upon counterattacking. His 2 just has that defense scaling now. They have the 50% chance to inflict 2 stacks of sap in red text for some reason, even though that's exactly the same as it is now. But it also deals 400% more damage against water elemental enemies. It'll be interesting to see if Schneider can actually do normal damage. I believe this is also the 2nd time he's gotten buffed this last year alone. Next up is not Light Laughless again. Blind Compromise. I don't actually remember which one this is. I actually have literally no idea because all of the light people on here, it's not their burst. It has to do with Spirit. So I'm going to have to do some investigating here because they were so sloppy with this update page. Okay, this is the Light Astrid update. Blind Compromise is one of her passives that gives a crit rate. Spirit cost decreased by 1. Nothing about this is accurate. 1, it's not Light Laughless, it's Light Astrid. 2, it's not a burst, it's a passive that gives crit rate. Maybe Light Astrid's burst is going down by 1? It's hard to tell because this is so typo riddled. If that is the case, this will be another 1 cost burst alongside Water Ian, which will be awesome. Next up is Dark Crom. Currently on his 2, his chance to gain an extra turn is 40 to 55%. That is going up to 70 to 100% chance, so you don't have to worry about unreliability anymore. And it appears the damage he gets from buffs on himself is going up, both in the number from each buff and the maximum. Massively up from 35% to a max of 210. To 60 per buff up to a max of 420, so he's going to be doing a lot more damage. Using him in tandem with Dark Lumi is going to be nasty. Next up is, once again, 2 times not Light Laughless. First one, Raging Firestorm. That's not even accurate to her. This is Light Lyre, it's Raging Light Storm, and the damage modifier increases of her burst. By how much? In what way? Who knows? It'll do more damage, hyper-specific. And this one is Light Charlotte. Her damage against dark elemental enemies passive. That one's going to do more. Insightful. Overall good buffs in general, but kind of hard to decipher what they mean sometimes. Next up is going to be Primeval Legacy missions. This first one's going to be for current players. This will run from December 17th to the 1st of March of next year. Doing these missions will grant you special hero summons, upwards of 90 for heroes and 100 for relic summons. They will be things like unlocking aptitudes. Hopefully those are retroactive, so you don't have to do that post-update. Or things like battle 2 times in Alliance raids, battle 1 time in the Temporal Rift, obtain 2 artifacts. The New Lords version is available until further notice. This is to help get new players caught up with how far the game is into its lifespan, I would imagine, because they get the same stuff but more of it. They also have a lot of beginner missions that reward them a lot of renown. New Lords will get 300 free hero summons and 200 free relic summons. This will be a special hero summon banner. This will allow you to select a specific hero or relic and perform summons on this banner. Once you're out of those summons you get from the missions, you can continue to use link stones, so you can aim for something specific if you need. However, it is not clear which heroes will be available on this, unless it's just all of them. One can hope. There is going to be another daily reward event for logging in from December 17th to January 22nd. The rewards for this one are hidden in. There will be 11 days of login rewards. As always, there will be alchemy banners for all 3 of the banner heroes from update day through February 1st for Ahilam and January 1st for the other 2. With all of that finally out of the way, let's take a look at Ahilam. Here is our new Light Guardian. I really like her design. The red eyes really pop on the color palette. She is very hefty in the health department for very good reason. She is a health scaling DPS. Attack is kind of garbage, and defense is decent. Speed is above average. Her 1 piercing spark is going to attack a selected enemy, dealing damage based on the user's max health, 90 to 100% chance to reduce defense of the target for 2 turns. Her active flash ignite has a cooldown of 4, going all the way down to 2 turns. Attacks all enemies, damage dealt based on user's max health. Fills the action gauge of all allies by 30 to 40%, increases the attack of all allies for 2 turns, and grants Solar Resolve to the user for 2 turns. Solar Resolve increases the damage dealt against enemies by 200%, increases damage taken by the user by 40%, and additionally reduces damage taken by all allies by 35%, except Guardians and allies under the effects of Resolve, and it does not stack with regular Resolve, and cannot be removed or transferred. It's basically just a unique better version of Resolve for Ahilam herself. Her burst has a spirit cost of 4 going all the way down to 2, is an AoE attack, damage dealt increases based on her max health, also deals up to 5 times additional damage based on target's max health, and here's the insane bit, grants invincibility to striker allies for 3 turns upon attacking a dark elemental enemy. This is the longest invincibility available in the game. Every single other invincibility is only 1 turn. If that wasn't crazy enough, this shocked me massively. 100% chance to inflict elemental weakness on all dark elemental allies for 2 going up to 4 turns. I was under the impression that once they put this on Dark Lucilica, it was so powerful they didn't want to put it on anyone else because you didn't see it since. And that was a long time ago. But here it is again for 4 turns. Although it is specified to dark elemental enemies, this will allow her to be on a light team and negate the advantage that dark elemental enemies have against your light allies, because dark and light are advantageous against each other, therefore rendering light purely advantageous against dark, giving you far more of a defensive advantage in that matchup. Her passives increase her health and damage dealt against dark elemental enemies. If that wasn't enough, she has her relics as well. Her default will increase her speed, which will be good for her action gauge boosting too. Her Refined will give her 50 to 100% chance to grant Focus Defense Dark to each light ally, respectively for 2 turns, upon attacking, and increases the damage dealt against dark elemental enemies by 20 up to 50%. Or if you're going for pure damage, go with her Divine, which is increased against dark elemental enemies by 35 up to 90%. Give and take between damage and utility. I would probably lean towards the Refined in most cases. Overall, she seems massively overpowered. I would definitely get her if you're aiming for a light team. She offers so much utility, gets to be tanky, and is probably going to do a ton of damage anyways. Lastly, weirdly not in the update notes as a separate bit of news, holiday stuff. Avalon Night editions for Crom and Astrid are going to be available from December 17th to the 22nd of January. Someone was asking about how to change outfits. These are only purchasable with temporal threads. Those, if you go over to the shop area, will be down here in temporal threads. If I remember correctly, an outfit costs 120. Then you will go over to the right over here for the boutique here with Araya. You go to the outfit shop here, and you'll have the ones that are available permanently. They're saying these ones will be coming back, but they're already here. That's a little weird. Maybe the limited versions, which you get tickets for by dissolving other outfits. Then you will go into a hero page and do the hanger here, and you will have access to all of your Ascension and purchased outfits. Here are the quite amazing artworks for Astrid and Crom. They have combined both the regular and the limited now, so they're not separate pages. Holiday outfit reruns will be available from December 17th to January 1st. They will be Vanessa, Joshua, Rosanna, Olivia, and Astrid. Therefore, their limited outfits will be available again, I would imagine, as well as those midnight editions for Nine, Laughless, and Sulfy I just mentioned. There will also be an outfit-based holiday treasure hunt like they've been doing repeatedly now, where you explore with tickets and get events with specific characters that are on a rotation. Then you get an accessory box, and the rewards for these explorations have a chance to be outfits themselves. Here are the list of artifact accessories for each hero, going down this quite extensive list of things you can randomly get in those boxes. And then, like always with these, there will be a dungeon you can explore that will have actual battles that will reward you with those tickets to explore and get those accessories and potentially outfits. And like every year during Christmas time, we will have the login rewards to get Firefram from December 20th to January 1st. Logging in during the event will activate daily check-in bonuses that last for 17 days. December 20th to January 1st is not 17 days. That's a bit confusing. Anyways, you'll get a bunch of rewards like gold, elixirs, energy, some gear. There will be artifacts in there that will give skill increases to Firefram herself. And then at the end, you will get Firefram herself. She is an amazing AoE provoker Fire Guardian, one of the best in the game for provocation. Here's the full list of rewards. And if you already have Firefram, you will be getting a Spiritus Gem to unlock one of her aptitudes. And that is going to do it for Lord of Heroes news today on Nyris Gaming. Be sure to log in over here to get little snippets of Ahilam's story, as well as 500 link stones for logging in total. Let me know what you think in the comments about Ahilam and all the things we covered today. Subscribe for more in the future, like if you liked, and I shall see you in the next one.